Alright, so we're ready? Alright, so this is take 2. We tried to do this a second ago and it didn't work too well. So we're going to do take 2.
Okay. I was just trying to see what you mean, like when you're hitting a tennis ball and you could see from your side if there's a distraction. I was trying to make sure that I could see that also.
We hadn't even started, you're already talking trash?
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so real quick, because I hadn't even said hello, and she's talking about when we play tennis. I have like magnification, and if I'm playing with glasses, which I do all the time, and I'm bouncing a ball or something, and I'm reaching up to toss the ball, and I'm about to hit the ball, like especially on a serve, and then there's something behind me that moves, I get like a little magnification, and more magnification. So it's like it's just a cluster, like in vision. So sometimes I have to catch the ball and bounce it again, and she doesn't get it because she doesn't wear glasses.
I was just making sure that.
So you're saying that's an excuse?
I was just checking.
So
I don't wear glasses. I just wanted to see.
Are you insinuating that I buy time to breathe a little bit more because I wipe off my glasses?
Definitely.
Are you serious? Really?
No, come on.
That's messed up.
I'm playing.
I don't think you're playing.
I just wanted to see, like, if I could see something bothering me on the side, because you always say when you're hitting a ball, if there's a kid on the side or somebody on the side, it kind of distracts you. So I just wanted to see if I could see the same thing.
She never stops. She never stops doing this. And see, okay, so
I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm just saying I wanted to see. I don't wear glasses, so I don't know how it is.
I see how it's gonna be.
I'm being sympathetic.
Well, yeah, right. You don't know the meaning of sympathetic.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, right. All right, so appreciate that though. Now I know what now I'm gonna play faster, just simply to beat her, well, even worse. So you know we'll
I was just checking for real.
Could have checked before we did this. So now I'm thinking about that when I gotta do all this.
Let's go.
That's a hindrance.
Oh, you'll be fine. Come on.
All right. So anyway, enough of that. Hello, good afternoon, morning, evening, depending upon obviously where you are. I know there's people all over the globe that watch in different places, Canada and Vietnam and Serbia and
I saw we had some audience in Turkey.
Turkey, good.
Russia.
Russia, even better. So yeah, that's great. So the more the merrier. So
the sun came out.
So as it seems, the sun just came out, but there is scattered storms around us. We might be lucky, Steve Clevenger, to get a storm behind us. When I was putting this camera up, there was lightning snapping in the background, and the sun just kind of passed back over. But I can promise you within the next probably hour that this usually takes, that we'll probably have a storm. So if you like the weather, keep your eyes tuned back there. If they can see, it's bright. All right, so hey, time flies quickly. It seems like just yesterday we were at show number 1. And as always, thanks so much to all of you, because if it wasn't for all of you, we more than likely wouldn't do the recording and downloading because it is time consuming. We would still do it in the kitchen, though, at the table and getting into bed and so forth. So it's nice to be able to share our passion for this game with all of you, and at the same time for you guys to share your passion about the game with us. And even our kids watch it. Our 5 kids do keep up with it. So even the kids like it. So great job to everyone. So
well, Jonathan always says, "Mom, you roast everybody."
Yeah, our 16-year-old says that Carla roasts everyone. She just roasts everyone, you know. She's a roasting type person, but she has her soft side. You just have to find it at the right point.
I do have a soft side.
She has a soft side.
I'm competitive, but I have a very soft side.
Yeah, when I met her, she wouldn't even say 3 words. I took her out, and she didn't talk like the whole night. She just looked at me like this. And
Not really.
Oh yeah, you did. You didn't talk at all.
That's not true.
Oh, I took you home. You didn't say 3 words. You looked out the window the other way. Tell me you didn't.
No, that's not true.
Oh, that's true.
No, we talked about tennis. We had something to talk about. We had something in common.
She has a shield, but once you get through the shield, you're all gravy. What I'm saying.
That's true.
You had your shield up at first.
Definitely, yeah.
And
you
then,
have to be in this world.
Yeah, and then you permeate that shield, and you're like inside the comfort zone. Cool.
Right.
All right. So anyway, thanks everyone. As always, I give it a big vamos or let's go for keeping us going. So thank you very much. So on today's show, as always, we're going to start with viewer comments. That's always first. That's why we do this. So we will always keep that first. We will surely have random topics that arise within the viewer comments, and that's why we always put the viewer comments first as well. Also, don't forget that we are building up to the U.S. Open. So we are going to have some U.S. Open discussion.
Love the U.S. Open.
Yeah, U.S. Open's her tournament. I gear up for Wimbledon, and I gear up for the U.S. Open as well. But this is a run-up to the U.S. Open, so we're going to talk about some predictions and some other things that involve the U.S. Open as well at the end. All right, so here we go. We're going to jump right into viewer comments, and as a reminder that we do these viewer comments based upon the last show upon completion and download. When the comments come in, we get them. We get the comments from that part 1 and part 2 shows, and we jot them down, and we kind of write a flow sheet starting from the first comment all the way through. That is what we try to do. I think so far we've kind of nailed that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think we're doing okay with that. So anyway, so ultimately though, when the U.S. Open starts, I think that when it gets into a draw of 128 players, we got Thunder. 128 players on both the women's and men's side. We know from experience that keeping up with all the scores doesn't leave much time for too much jargon, or not jargon, but I guess you could say long conversations on topics. So when we get to the U.S. Open, I think we'll pause and do mainly U.S. Open topics and results and so forth. And then as we anticipate the Australian Open next year.
Well, we could do some comments. I mean, there are some matches that are not even worth talking about, so we could squeeze it in there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll still have topics, but I think within the storylines of the U.S. Open in of itself, I think there'll probably be ample to talk about.
Sure.
All right, so Carla, get the computer ready because we are going to jump right into the first comment that came in after the last show's completion. All right, checking the camera as usual. Sorry about that. So after the last show ended, the first comment that we received was from a longtime viewer and a very well spoken, very well.
Nothing.
What happened?
Nothing.
All right. See, hindrance again on the hindrance. What's up with the hindrance?
Nothing. I can see we have a little viewer or two over there.
Where?
I think Lily's watching us do the show.
Oh, well, good for her. She'll enjoy it. All right. So anyway, so the first comment that we received was from a longtime viewer, Kia Sama. A really, really, really fun read when you read her. I her correctly.
Yes.
So it's a really fun read when you read her comments because you can tell, number one, she's a jolly soul. You can tell, number two, she's very passionate about the game. Number three, she's very well prepared when she writes, and it's written very elegantly, I would say. So her comment is long and respectively long. We read it actually about 3 or 4 times over and took notes on different parts of it. I would advise, if you're seeing this, to go back to the last show, and I think it was part 2, because part 1 last show we did how we started playing, and part 2 was more factual. So factual in terms of the game and results and players and so forth. So go to that video and read her comment. But Carla has her computer or the computer ready. But her comments basically had some nuggets within each section of her description. Number one, she mentioned that my father, at 80 years young, still plays the game. I mentioned that my father, at 80, still gets out on the court. And I think I put a video up on the last video's comments, too, of where he was out on the court. So here's the funny thing about yesterday. So he came out to play, and really it wasn't funny. It was really, well, it was funny, I guess.
It wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday.
Yeah, it was on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, it was on Sunday. So he comes out to the court, and he always brings things from a different perspective for the kids, because we train the kids out there, and then he comes out and he does something totally different. Like he'll bring a chalkboard with crayons or paper or string and teach thought and attitude and court conduct, stuff that you would do on a chalkboard. So somehow a jar of paint, like water-based like paint that you would like paint your house or your walls with in your house, onto a tennis court. I didn't really understand how it got out there in the first place, but I know I was picking up balls. We have a ball mower, and I was picking up like 1,000 balls with the ball mower. And he was over there talking to the kids, and I start walking over there, and I see this big, milky, huge white puddle on the ground. And I realize when I smell it, there's paint on the court. I wasn't over there. I just walked up, and I see this huge puddle of white and smell it. I realize it's paint. Can you imagine paint on a tennis court? Okay, so
Let's
immediately.
just say we were there for hours
Yeah,
trying to clean that.
yeah. I mean, we proceeded to run to go get buckets, start filling with water. In the meantime, I had to go to the house and get 2 hoses, bring them back, hook them up to the hose, and with them stretched out like 100 feet plus, it still wouldn't quite reach there. So we're like spraying the court off. She goes to the store.
Are they still there, by the way?
Who?
The hoses.
I don't know. I'm sure they are. So she when I get back with the hoses, she gets into the car and goes, well, who's at the door?
Gabby.
You want to tell her to move real quick though, because she's knocking on the door. She goes all the way to the store and gets SOS Brillo pads, and gets on her hands and knees and starts scrubbing hands and knees. So she's on the floor with Brillo pads. We've got all of our gear, everything covered in white paint. So for about 6 hours, we worked on cleaning this paint, which unimaginably got onto the court in the first place. And after 6 hours and getting most of it up, we were left with some white paint marks. So now I have to repair a tennis court. But I think looking back,
Why did we throw water on it? We should have just grabbed the towel and like blot, and just left that part white.
so do you think that was like a karma deal or something?
I think none of us thought. We threw water and then we used the squeegee thing's big mistake.
Well, I guess the fun thing about it, I think looking back, I mean, we'll get the court fixed, obviously, but I think besides the I guess the issue of having to do that, I think the fun thing is that my father, again, who is 80 years old and played the game since he was a boy, as we were born into it, his father played it generations ago. And my dad was born in 1938, so if his father played it, I'm building a context for what I'm going to say, is that he indicated when he left yesterday, and he got in his hands and knees too and scrubbed too. He was on the broom. He left here and he was like so cold. He was like, man, it wasn't even cold.
So bad
it was hot.
that he was even
But he's like 80, like stressed about it, cleaning, scrubbing. Man, he left here so beat. Anyway, but he said before he left, he was like, well, I can tell you in my 80 years of playing tennis that I've never cleaned paint off a tennis court. First time for everything, right?
Yes.
First time for everything.
And hey, things happen. It's
So-
part of life.
So anyway, sorry to drift out on that road. I need to veer back into Kia-sama's comment, but she mentioned my dad 80 playing, and we had mentioned that he was coming out. But unfortunately, the tennis training got cut short after about 2 minutes of him being there. This happened. He was carrying stuff down the court to set up like a classroom on the court, had all this stuff and different ideas and all this stuff, ready with paper and binders and everything, right? Clipboards, and all of a sudden, there's paint on the court. And we're like, what? Paint? And then it just, everybody started working. So anyway, that's how our training day ended up 2 days ago. Today, as you can see, we have weather, so we're kind of court on hold.
Right.
We train our kids out of the house sometimes.
Sometimes.
Hopscotch, ups and downs, footwork.
They're watching tennis right now. A lot of them are.
Yeah, they're watching the DC stuff right now.
The City Open. Yes.
All right, so Kia-sama's second comment, I think, was about the Atlanta tournament. Can you read that nugget where she read something about the Atlanta tournament that just completed, that John Isner won again last week that we talked about yesterday?
She said, how dare you all diss poor Atlanta and its sort of famous tennis tournament? So what if Isner or Harrison is a guaranteed finalist? And some folks have even considered renaming the darn thing to John Isner BBNT Atlantic Championships? Can we not have this one good thing? Insert dramatic torture pose here. On a more serious note, it's exhausting seeing the same faces there all the time. Anyway, this could go on to a long discussion, so let's move on. Should I continue reading?
No, I think the premise of this component of her writing just was about the tournament. We had mentioned Atlanta last week and how we weren't really watching it because it's always Isner that wins it, and then he always plays someone like Sock or Harrison or whoever.
You know what? Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, one of them should just talk amongst them three and say, let's join at the last second.
Just show up and play
Just show up. Well, Isner's guaranteed. He thinks he's guaranteed the
last minute wild card. Nadal just showed up. Oh no!
Yeah.
There goes my streak.
Yeah.
Or hey, Chilich and Nadal and Federer get up and be like, man, let's just play it for free and just show up, and then just be like, hey.
They could guarantee themselves add another title to their.
No offense to Isner. Again, we have fun with that. But we talked about Atlanta last week, and I think that Kia-sama has some home field advantage, or even some type of loyalty to the area, even living in the vicinity per se, if not right there. So she has some fanhood there. So respectively, but I don't really have much to say about that. I mean, Isner Harrison, okay. I would hope Isner would win. I mean,
sure.
I mean,
He's the higher ranked seeded player.
I mean, I guess it could have gone either way, right? I mean, could have. I wouldn't have been surprised if that happened.
Maybe we should have played it. Got a chance.
All right. So enough about that. All right. I like the comment, but again, no.
Funny. That was funny though.
Yeah, a funny comment, but there's absolutely zero excitement in me when I'm talking about it.
And I'm sure she made it also insert dramatic torture pose here. She was saying the same thing.
Yeah. Man, I got tired thinking about that one. I'm just kidding. All right, so moving forward. So as she said, furthermore, she enjoyed our personal story. So someone asked us the last video how we got into the game of tennis, and we did that on part 1 of show 56, which was 2 days ago's videos part 1. So thank you for that. Were you going to read that clip of it or no?
She says, enjoyed listening to your tennis stories. Thanks for sharing and the photo. All I can say is a moment of silence for the golden locks on that kid's head. Gone but never forgotten, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I had a picture of when I was 2, and I was being handed a tennis racket from a coach when I was 2, and I had this blonde hair. I was, very blonde-headed at that point in time. I was a California kid. I think that was Encinitas, but I was born in San Francisco, but that was Encinitas.
Well, Gabby has the same thing. She had the blonde hair just like you did.
All right, so Carla's going to read her next segment, which was pertaining to Venus and Serena and how they will fare in this year's 2018 U.S. Open.
The discussion about Venus and Serena's chances at the U.S. Open. I understand the love you have for Venus, Justin, but I'm going to have to agree with Carla's argument here. I just don't see her going deep this year or from here on out. Not taking anything away from all she's achieved, and she's definitely an inspiration. But at this stage of her life/career, I think she's just about ready to bow out with grace. As for Serena, did no one else notice how much slower she's become? Watching the Wimbledon final was rather foreboding, and as much as I like to be proven wrong, I really don't see her winning the US Open either. Her serve has always been her saving grace, and that never die attitude we've come to appreciate. But I think with all the health issues she's been dealing with, plus the after effects of childbirth, and I don't care how superwoman she is, it changes everything. Plus, where her mental state will be at the stage of her life, sure, she might reach the finals, but unless she meets someone who simply trembles at the mention of her name and lets her get the win, she's going to have a much harder time sealing the deal. Again, I really like to be proven wrong. Last but not least, you kill me with the screech-off suggestion and noises you make. Stomach hurts now from laughing. But yeah, big no-no for me and the grunts. And heck, as much as I love Djokovic, he does that every now and then, and I want to rip my ears out. I'm looking at you, Nadal.
All right, so we wanted to read a segment of that. Again, she writes very well, and if you want to read the entire commentary there, please check it out. I think it's part 2 of the last video. I'm going to break it down real quickly. Number 1, I totally disagree. Watch that wasp there. He's a good guy, but just be careful. So I disagree with the Venus Williams statement whatsoever. Lest we not forget, she's been in a couple finals of majors in the past couple of years. Am I right or wrong? First of all,
what has she done this year?
I'm not.
Yeah, she has. That's the past.
That's all I'm asking.
That's the past.
Can I finish without you arguing with me?
I'm not.
Can I please finish without you arguing with me?
Sure.
Okay, because I take these two passionately, and I do it for a reason, and it's not because that I have any passion from a.
Go ahead, finish. You don't have to ramble on. Go ahead.
Okay, is it not true that given what's your?
You get all red. I don't want you to get all red.
I'm stating facts. Okay. I don't want to hear jargon and be. I just want facts for what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it not arguably true that Venus Williams has probably, if not the top, but one of the top 3 serves in the game currently, right now as we sit here? You cannot tell me I'm wrong. No one out there can tell me I'm wrong either.
Now? Top 3?
We're just standing here right now. We're standing in a line, and you're clocking serves and doing percentage and so forth.
Sure, yeah.
She's got those top 3. If not number 1.
Top 5, yeah.
Serena's 1, she's 2. Who in the hell, pardon my language, who is going to be up there? Who can you even conjecture as coming in front of either one of you? Say top 5. Okay, give me 3 girls that are in front of Venus Williams right now in terms of serve. Give me 3.
I mean, this
Give me you said top five.
Sloane Stephens could serve just as well as Venus, no?
You gonna tell me Sloane
But
Stephens?
you know what? Venus lately has double faulted a lot. So yeah, I'll give her the top 2, but she's been double
Didn't
faulted.
Sloane Stephens just barely beat Maddox Sands just now in Washington D.C.?
Yeah, that's true.
Man.
Okay, so she may have one of the hardest serves.
That's
yes.
all. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the only reason why Serena was still a little slow, and I agree with Kiyosami here at the U.S. Open. I mean, gee whiz, she just had a baby. How long ago?
10 months ago now.
10 months ago. Now you had our 2-year-old 2.5 years ago, and you're still not. You're fit now, but you're still not where you really want to be.
No, but I've had 5. After my first, I was back in shape in 6 months.
I get you having 5, but for this conversation, I think that is just a little excuse of woulda, coulda, shoulda. All I'm telling you right now, if I had $100 bill in my hand, right?
I'm not disagreeing with you
Can
on
I
this,
finish?
but I'm not disagreeing with you on the Serena thing. I don't disagree with that. I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay.
She's just had a baby. Yeah.
Okay, now
I don't disagree with you on that one.
Okay, so let me push it forward then. So we
Yeah.
agree that you cannot bet against Serena winning the
No,
US
you
Open.
can't.
Even
No.
though I don't think she'll win it yet either.
She's a little bit slow.
I think she'll own it next year, no matter what,
Yeah.
as long as she doesn't get hurt. But the reason why I tell you is if Serena loses, and I'm sure the draw makers will make it to where Serena and Venus will meet as far away as possible and still make it look right. Nonetheless, are you telling me that if Serena for some reason loses early, gets injured, or side's hurting her again, whatever, are you telling me that you could bet against Venus Williams?
Oh yeah, any day.
Who?
I'm sorry.
Who?
Last year, no, but this year, anybody could do better than Venus.
So you gonna
Venus is so unpredictable because of the disease that she has. She's 38 years old, Justin. Your body's not the same. Okay, she hasn't played as much tennis as she played last year. She hasn't had good results this year. You could have someone from 100 and something surprise her in the first round. She could lose the U.S. Open. I would not bet my life on it. I would not bet $10 on it. I wouldn't even bet $1 on it.
Let's go, Venus.
Sorry.
Let's go.
I have to totally agree with Kaya.
Hey, no matter what happens, I don't care who. I don't care if Venus faces Halep in the first round. I'm taking Venus no matter what on my fantasy team. That's a fact.
Not me. That's you.
Your loss, not mine. Let's go, Venus. Let's go.
What has she done this year? That's all you have to look at.
Doesn't
And
matter.
I don't think she's taking tennis as serious. She's having fun, and that she accomplished everything she was going to accomplish. She doesn't have to prove herself to anyone. She's done better than most players have done. Bravo to her.
Anyway, at least I don't.
She just doesn't want. She doesn't want to be bored after retirement.
Well,
I don't know. She wants to keep playing just to play.
At least I don't have to listen to her go.
But she's one of the grunters too. Sorry, you cannot. She grunts as well, just as bad. Just as bad.
Anyway, this debate will go on for a couple more weeks.
I'm not taking away that Venus sucks or that she's great, but does she have the same energy she had last year? No, this year hasn't been good for her.
We'll see. Go Venus.
And she should bow out before she drops out of the top 20.
And go Serena. I agree with Kiyosama here. I don't think that Serena will win it this year, but you can't bet against her.
You cannot bet against her.
Anyway, all right. So the second comment or second set of comments that we received was from Rahesh. And Carla's going to read this. And as always, Rahesh had some really good points. This comment and again. So Carla's going to read that comment quickly.
He says, grunting is part of the game, so now sail along, and not all are physically strong like Carla.
Do you want to start there or you want me to start?
I don't think that you... First of all, I don't know how he can say I wouldn't grunt because I'm physically stronger. I'm only 5'5". I'm a small girl.
Yeah, but you're thicker than I am.
Okay. I thought... when I played amateur tournaments, most of the girls were thick as me, and they were built bigger than me, and they were more muscular than me. It has nothing. A small girl can hit the ball really hard without grunting. Example, Justine Henin. She didn't grunt to hit the ball hard. Did you ever hear Hingis grunt?
No.
No, you don't. There's quite a few players that don't grunt.
So, yeah, I'm with her on this one. I think the size has absolutely zero to do whether or not you grunt. And I may have misinterpreted the message on this one, Rahesh. Much love to you, obviously. But I don't see how your size has anything to do with grunting. I mean, did Tracy Austin grunt?
No.
Did Capriati grunt?
No, rarely. She was very quiet when she played.
Did Chris Evert grunt?
Even Sloane Stephens, who hits the ball hard. Stephens is only like 5'6", 5'7". She's not a big girl.
I mean, I can get into some really much shorter. Did Justine Henin grunt?
No, never. And she was my height and a lot skinnier than I am.
Yeah, so I think the whole grunting thing is really a hindrance to everyone, the fans, to the crowd, to the people that watch it on the television. I can't watch it. And yes, there are men that grunt, and Nadal gets into some grunting at times too. But I can't watch it. I have to turn it down. I cannot watch a Sharapova match unless it's muted. I just can't.
Didn't we talk to your dad yesterday? And your dad's a doctor, or was a doctor, and he says, I mean, from a medical standpoint, you don't have to be big and strong, and for you not to grunt. You can be small and not grunt. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. If I'm in a weight room bench pressing, when I'm pushing off of my chest, yeah, I'm releasing energy, so I can see it from that point. But I don't think you go into your local Gold's Gym and having anyone in there on the bench machine going, hey, hey, oh, ooey. I mean, does that happen?
No.
It doesn't happen, right?
You can look at mixed martial arts too. You can have the smallest people, black belt, and they break wood or whatever they do, and they don't grunt.
Yeah, you get the whole Bruce Lee thing. Wah, 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 wah. But no, I mean, think about it. Do you go into to work out at the local gym and you get on the bench press machine? You're like, what? Hey! You get on the butterfly. You're like, here, look at this girl walking by. Ooh! You get on the incline machine. Ah! Ah! Come on, man.
No, I
Curls.
I've seen some people grunt because it's become a habit. I think for Sharapova, even on her interviews, if you watch, it's a habit. It was a habit that she had since she was small.
Yeah, I mean, the habit. I've actually been around, and I won't get into who, when, what, where, how, but I've been around coaches that actually will try to coach into a player grunting. I know at times if we play deep into a match, sometimes you'll come up on a short ball and it's a really intense match. You hit a shot and you're just like, and
you're tired,
and it just comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But on every shot, you go, ah. I mean, if I'm somewhat fatigued and I'm pumped up in the moment and I hit a really good shot, it'll come right out of my mouth. Wah. But yet, if that is delayed for a second, like the other day sorry for the Thunder. Actually, I love the Thunder. We were playing a match and she hit a shot. All right, she hit the shot, didn't grunt, but as soon as it left the racket, she knew it was going to be good, and she went, oh! And I thought for some reason something had happened, and I looked back. So, no, it was like a hindrance call.
No, I said, come on!
Yeah, so
and I realized that you just...
So, yeah, so all I'm saying here is how is it if someone grunts, it's not a hindrance, whereas if you don't grunt, hit through the ball traverses over the net, and then someone says something, and it's an immediate loss of the point. Because sometimes it can be so... after the ball is gone, it's crazy. Like the ball hit, stays on the racket, strings for, a millisecond, a fraction of a millisecond, and it's gone. So the grunt takes like, hey, the ball's already at their strings, and how is that not?
It should be a hindrance.
It should be a hindrance, in my opinion. I think it's unneeded. I would rather listen to that thunder in my bedroom any day than listen to someone squealing on the darn tennis court. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, size is irrelevant. I think it has to do with coaching. I think it has to do with being a show-off. I think it has to do with trying to look cool. And I think it just sucks.
I completely agree with you.
All right,
the next comment, he says, for me, Celis was the only one to stop Steffi and could have won more slams. Totally agree with you, Rajesh. Celis was on her way to winning more slams. She was the only one that could beat Steffi Graf, in my opinion. It's too bad what happened to her. I mean, I enjoyed watching. I enjoy watching her win. I didn't like her playing style. I think she was a great player. I just would never teach that to a student to play like her.
Yeah. So I concur with Rajesh. Again, I think that the comment that we were discussing was who one's favorite tennis player was, and wasn't if we thought that she could have or was potentially one of the greatest. I personally love Celis. So does she. We love Celis a lot and always did and still do. Mm-hmm. I think what we were getting at, just to correct this in case there's any conflict of interest in a sense. We love Celis first and foremost, love her to death. I think what we were getting at from coaches and from people that play and then and that coach daily our kids and so forth. She's not my favorite player, not even close, because of her ground strokes. I don't care for her game. She is a great player. We love her, but we don't care. Agreed.
No, she always had a positive attitude,
Yeah.
which was wonderful to see out there. She
Yeah.
was a fighter. And, I mean, I remember the day that happened. What a sad day, because I said, geez, Graf won so many Grand Slams without her being there.
Yeah, so just to make sure we're on the same song sheet, Rajesh, we love Celis. We just don't care for her game, wouldn't teach it. But we had always been big, staunch Celis fans. Lastly, I think Rajesh kind of laughingly was joking about the lawnmowers beside us and the weed eaters just the other day when we did our shows. We have thunder coming over now. I think we're going to try to record through it either way. It might be fun. If the wind picks up, though, and gets bad, we may have to stop it because the weather, if I could show you that way, you would see that it's pretty bad just right there. So what I'm going to do...
Let me finish his comment.
Okay, go ahead.
He says,
We don't have long.
Rafa, Simon, Delpo, Novak, Wawrinka, all grunt. And he says there will be no one equivalent to Roger, Rafa, or Novak.
So he's referring to the grunters on the men's side, and he's right about all of them. I would say that all of the above grunt a very good bit, but not quite as screeching as the...
Yeah, that's just... I understand a grunt like, but then something like, it's just like, there's no need for that.
All right, so I got about 30 seconds to stop the camera and start part 2. So as always, we're going to stop here and start part 2 with someone new, and I always look forward to that. So stay tuned. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe below, click a like below, share the video, and ultimately we would like to do this forever, but we need help to, of course, get there. So thank you everybody. We're going to hit pause or stop and get into part 2 with a new comment. All right? Hold this. And just so you can see, these are the skies. So we're going to try to record right through that. And this direction, it's much clearer, but behind us, and it's moving this way, it's much more tumultuous. All right, we'll see you in a second, guys.